thank you for this opportunity also to contribute on this budget, supplementary budget. Speaker, we have realized that there has been difficulties in the country, Mr. Speaker, and this prompted the withdrawal of the finance bill, which was meant to finance to some extent some of the expenditures in our budget, Speaker, and therefore there had to be some austerity measures and some changes to accommodate the much we can collect. Mr. Speaker, I wish to thank the chair for budget for sitting and looking into the issues that we had tabled before the committee. And Speaker, I want to say that as a committee for housing, we factored in, of course, Mr. Speaker, the issues, the needs, which, of course, the people of this country were expecting to appear in that particular supplementary budget. Speaker, we want also to understand that this supplementary budget will have a lot of constraints, and of course, there are so many shortfalls, and especially on funding some vital projects and programs. Mr. Speaker, I particularly, the State Department for Public Works was majorly affected, Mr. Speaker. And remember, this is a very vital organ, especially on inspecting and monitoring and evaluating all the projects which are done in the country, Mr. Speaker. But most importantly, remember the rain that ravaged the country, Mr. Speaker, carried so many food bridges which had been done to allow students cross over to the other areas, to allow even women who are crossing to the other areas for markets, carrying their products. Mr. Speaker, we heard, or the State Department had requested for the construction of the food bridges to allow these crossovers. But Mr. Speaker, due to the fall of the finance bill, Mr. Speaker, the whole budget which was allocating these particular activities was completely downed. Mr. Speaker, the budget also has given breadth to the employment permanently of the JSS teachers. Remember, Mr. Speaker, we still have a very big and a huge challenge on the issue of JSS, on the issue of our classrooms. Mr. Speaker, this CBC was introduced without considering so many factors. Now it is a baby that we have to nurture. It is something that we have to deal with. It is a matter that we cannot throw it out of the window, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, when this budget was cut, the President looked into whether we are going to throw out the JSS teachers, because that was a very big challenge. But in his wisdom and the wisdom of the Budget Committee, they have managed to allocate good funds to ensure that we have all these JSS teachers employed and be placed under permanent employment. Mr. Speaker, remember this is a very vital area. We also ensure that the CBA, collective bargaining agreement, is considered. And this is a very vital thing, which of course will also give our teachers our teachers comfort, because you know, Mr. Speaker, the foundation of this country is based on education. And just like what somebody said, or a very great person one day said, and education is an equalizer. It is a factor that equalizes all the rich and the poor. They put them in the same pool, Mr. Speaker. So this budget is considering majorly and putting into serious consideration on matters of education, because that is one area that we consider as very fundamental. Mr. Speaker, we know even the roads, we know the electricity, the energy, the Ministry of Energy, most of the issues were cut. But Mr. Speaker, most importantly, now that from the mood of the communication you just sent to this House, Mr. Speaker, you read to this House, Mr. Speaker, where most of the nominees to the cabinet are now from the opposition side, Mr. Speaker. I hope I hope it is now going to bring harmony in this House and especially in the country, so that whatever business we are going to be transacting in this House will sail through. And I'm taking this opportunity to welcome members of the opposition now that they are part of government, to help this country to stabilize. And I know the reason why we had that particular move, Mr. Speaker, is to allow this country to have stability, allow this country to move forward, allow this country to focus, allow this country to actually ensure that all the issues, all the projects which have been slated are properly delivered and done. And even as we are passing this supplementary budget one, Mr. Speaker, I wish, as a word of caution, Mr. Speaker, we have seen, even in our committees when we were trying to pass some of the proposals by the state departments, we wanted to ensure that most of the monies, because, Mr. Speaker, where we are collecting this money, the people of the Republic who we are taxing to get this money are going through a lot of pain. So our major request and demand by this House, Mr. Speaker, is that any money allocated for majorly projects, Mr. Speaker, should be utilized on projects, and especially projects, Mr. Speaker, which bring development to our people and to the people of this Republic. So, Mr. Speaker, I wish to say that we will, as much as possible, try to cut some of the expenditures. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, the cuts which have been placed on development areas, Mr. Speaker, the little that has remained must be properly utilized. And now that we are having almost a new cabinet, though some of them are the same old faces, but we are having almost a new cabinet. We want to ask the members of the cabinet who are coming in, where especially if they were to be passed or vetted and passed in this House, Mr. Speaker, that it is time to work for this country. It is not time to work for yourself. This is no time to reap. This is no time to steal. This is no time to waste. These are monies which we collect painfully from the people of this Republic. So even as we are going to vet these particular cabinet secretaries whose names have been forwarded to this House, Mr. Speaker, our core mandate as this House is to ensure that we vet and pass members of the cabinet who we know their background has nothing to do with corruption. And if they pass that test, Mr. Speaker, we hope they are going to deliver to this nation. They are going to build this nation. They are going to work hard, just like what the president is trying to do, so that we don't look back and say, these are the people who failed this country. So each one of us has a responsibility. As a House, we have the responsibility. As a cabinet, they have the responsibility. As the president also has the responsibility to ensure that whatever money we appropriate in this House, Mr. Speaker, whatever money we tax the people of this country, Mr. Speaker, and put in the budget must be properly utilized without corruption, without stealing. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I support.
Nairobi Women Rep. Oh, you are not ready. Oh, Rosa.